What is up, y'all? This is Alex from Alex PC Tech, back at you with another video. And on this video, we're gonna be talking about my first experience on water cooling my PC. So, right off the bat, I wanna apologize to you all for not uploading as fast as I can because I was busy with doing this water cooling loop on this PC, and I wanted to enjoy the experience as this is my first time on doing so. And also, just a disclaimer, I am not an expert in any way on PC water cooling. This video is merely about me talking about my experiences and what are some of the challenges that I've encountered while doing this project. So after buying and receiving all of the parts, I've unboxed all of the parts that I've used on this PC water cooling build on my previous video. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link of that video down on the description below if you want to see it. But nonetheless, the first thing that I did was to unbox it and put on the GPU block. So because the GPU block was so pretty, so that was the first thing that I did. I also did a video on that one, so if you wanna learn how to put the GPU block, especially this one that I've had here for the 1660 Ti, I've also had a video for that one. So after I've put that and I've put the CPU block, initially I realized that on my case, okay, I initially planned it to have a vertical GPU, okay, to mount my GPU vertically with the case. But sad to say, upon checking the H500 manual, the NZXT H500 manual, the manual was for an H500 and an H510, okay? So the H510 had the vertical GPU mechanism mount, okay? Whereas the H500 doesn't have that. It has the slot, but it doesn't have the mechanism in mounting a GPU vertically. So the thing is, I planned the loop and the arrangement of the parts if they will all fit in the case through Fusion 360. So when I realized that I wasn't able to do so, I did another layout. So this one is the pump is below and the pump is mounted horizontally. So I had to ask some friends from Watercooled PC on FB if this is possible. So some people replied to them, and I thank you guys for helping me out. They replied that I can do this as long as my pump inlet or the supply of the water for the pump is not above the outlet, okay? So I had to always keep it wet or have water always flowing on the inlet for it not to run dry. So kudos to you guys for telling me that. So we've achieved this loop by doing the pump horizontally and mounting the GPU horizontally as well. Another thing that we did when we were planning was we initially planned this to not have any 90-degree elbows, okay? 90-degree elbow fittings, okay? So that was really a challenge, okay, when planning this one, because I said that it would be cleaner, I guess, if I would just not use those 90-degree fittings to make it not look like more industrial, okay? I don't want it to look more industrial, but I'd like it to look more minimalistic, like the case and the theme of my build here. So I didn't opt for those fittings. Little that I know that those fittings would really help me in simplifying my my loops, okay, or my bends, as I've had some pipes on this that has 7 bends or 5 bends, okay? It was really hard. I had a lot of wasted pipes because at first when I was heating the pipes and preparing them for bending, I didn't realize that I was putting the pipes very close to the heat gun, okay? So what happened was there were bubbles, okay? So there were bubbles. I said, why is it bubbling up? Is it too hot? Or yeah, and it wasn't too hot. It was because it was too close to the heat. So there was a lot of compressed air going on and the bubbles started appearing on the acrylic bendings. So that was that. So later I realized that I need to lift the acrylic pipes higher on the heater for around 4 to 6 inches. Okay, so after that, and I was about to heat them for 2 to 3 minutes. So after heating them for 2 to 3 minutes with that height, I was able to bend them flawlessly. So when bending, I used a book and a table. Okay, just this table that I have here, this brown table. So I used a book, a thick book, and put it on the side, and then put a weight on it so that I can use it as a pseudo bender. But you can get around this by buying just the benders that you can find on Amazon for PC water cooling. There are pipe benders or shapers, if you might say. But for me, I did mine by having this makeshift bend station, okay, by using a book and a table. You can also do your bends without using the book and just only by using the corner of a table. But as I've noticed when I'm doing that, the bends didn't seem to be uniform. Some of them are bending wider, some of them are longer. Also, it's much better to use a book because the corner of the book really dictates how sharp the curve will be, as you can see here, because I have limited space for my case because this is just an H500. This is just a mid-tower compact case, so the bends that I need to do here should be a bit steeper, you might say, or a little bit tighter for me to like save space or do proper bends. When I was doing measurements, at first I did measurements by using a ruler, okay? So that went well, okay, because I offsetted the bends. The bends, I've offsetted them like 15 millimeters. You can measure the from and to of the pipe and subtract the 15 millimeter that you will get from the bend, okay? I don't know if I'm saying that clear, but that's how I measured it. But the longer I did it, it was very long. It was taking way too long to measure and then check the pipes and measure and then check the pipes. So what I ended up doing at my third and fourth pipe was I ended up doing eyeball, the eyeball technique that they're saying when doing your bend. So I'm just measuring it through the eye and then do the bend and estimated the 15 millimeter offset for the bend so that I can have the bend exactly as where I want them to be. So as you can see here, I did some clean bends. Some of them are not, some of them are clean, but I am very satisfied with how it went, especially that this is my first time and I was enjoying bending, but I wasted a lot of pipes. So that's that. Another thing is I haven't wasted that much pipe if I had the 90-degree fittings, as I've said earlier, because this will help me in eliminating some bends, especially the ones that are going out of the parts, like from the GPU to the CPU. So if I had a 90 on one of those scenarios, then some bends will be easier to do or some bends won't be that complicated. So after that, the dilemma was now inserting the pipes. So after I've cut the pipes, I've bent them, and the next thing that I did was, I also encountered one issue with my hand saw. So since I am using acrylic and not PETG, I was gonna be using a handsaw to cut it down, okay? Because on PETG, there's a tool to cut it because it's a thinner plastic material. So there's just a tool that you can use to cut that. But for this one, for acrylic ones, you need to use a handsaw, okay? So using a handsaw, I was okay, it was proper, but as I went on, the blade got blunt, okay? So when it got blunt, what happened was when I finished one entire pipe, one entire pipe, okay? I tried to saw it, but the bend or the blade wasn't going through. What happened is I shattered the acrylic. After bending and measuring, I shattered the acrylic. So there were little cracks inside, I noticed, and I realized that it was because I was applying too much force on the pipe, so it shattered. So that is that. That's lesson learned for me. So after that is the dilemma was inserting the pipes to the fittings, okay? So before you insert the pipes, you need to deburr the edges or make them less sharp for them not to cut the O-rings, okay? So I was deburring the entire time before I inserted them. I even had someone help me with the deburring because it was quite fun, the deburring process. I also used a 100 grit sandpaper because some ends, when I tried to saw them or after sawing them, some were like a little off angle, okay? So I tried to use the hands or the sandpaper to offset the off angle that I did when sawing. So I used some 100 grit sandpaper, and it turned out nice. After I did the sandpaper, I deburred each end and then tried inserting them. I did cut a few O-rings because I thought that I deburred enough, but still it cut a few O-rings. So I had to replace the O-rings inside the fittings and then insert the pipes again properly. So after that, there are some things that I also forgot to purchase when buying the stuff that I need. So one of them is the controller. So I need a controller to plug all in the fans and the RGB that came with my CPU block and the GPU block. So I am looking at Barrow's controller, the LRC 2.0. I forgot to purchase that. But if you can suggest other controllers that are also compatible with other peripherals or that you may have used or is using right now, please do suggest on the comment down below. Having that aside, I forgot to buy a stopper. Okay, so the top of my pump has two holes. One serves as an inlet and the other serves as a filling port, or yeah, where you can fill or put water in when filling. So I forgot, or I didn't know that I was supposed to buy a stopper for that particular hole. So yeah, so I sourced locally here in the UAE and I found a guy who sells or who has some old parts, and he gave me two stoppers. The one stopper I've put on top of the pump, and the other is I've put on the inlet, or yeah, the inlet of the pump or my pump reservoir. So I've put a stopper on the inlet because I've already got the in on top of the pump, and then the outlet goes through the GPU, as you can see here. So that's also one thing. Another thing that I've spent a lot of time looking for is that because my power supply is modular, I managed to break the Molex to 6-pin PCI, okay, Molex to 6-pin PCI. So I managed to break that because when I was doing my cable sleeving exercise, I thought that I won't be using those parts. So I've cut them and made them as test. So I had to find another, luckily some guy again. So it's good that you know other people. Some guy, when I went to this store here in Dubai, some guy gave me a compatible Molex to 6-pin adapter for my power supply. So they just gave it to me for free. Kudos guys, thank you. If it wasn't for you, then my pump would have worked. So, okay. Another mistake that I did was I thought that the pump will go to just a standard Molex connector. So there's this Molex connector that I have, but checking it, I saw that the pins, the 6 pins doesn't fit or doesn't match the ones that are in my power supply. So I've checked Google and found out that these aren't compatible ones. So be sure to always plug your pump in the right voltage, because the pump is expensive and burning it will cost you a lot. Other than that, also the fans. Okay, I also have one debacle with the fans. The fans that I ordered from outside didn't reach my location because they were rejected by the customs, because they said that they were magnetized objects. So I don't know if you have experience with that, but that's what the courier told me. So they had to return the fans to where I bought them, and then they just refunded me. So what I did was I also sourced locally. Some guy has these NZXT fans. Luckily, most people are using the NZXT, or a lot of people are using the NZXT case. So they have these stock fans that they used or they replaced from RGB, from the stock fan to RGB. So they have some stock fans. So I've purchased some local stock fans for this one because I've put the stock fans for the radiator. So as you can see here, my configuration is pulling air from the radiator and pushing air out. Yeah, pull and push. Yeah. Or push, pull. Yeah, pull, push. Pulling air out. Okay, pulling air out from the radiator towards the case, and then exhausting the air up towards this fan. So I had a 140mm fan that is exhausting all the heat, all the air inside upwards. So with all that said and done, I think the best question or the best answer that you can take away from this video is that, is water cooling worth it? Is water cooling your PC worth it? in my opinion, yes, because of the experience that I've gained, I quite learned a lot about PCs more, especially because I'm a PC enthusiast and I'm into tech and this stuff. So water cooling the PC was quite an experience. It was quite a journey. I was really happy with doing it. I had fun. I had fun solving problems because you see, I really had a lot of hiccups when doing this project. So yeah, for me it's worth it to learn. If you are like an average gamer, okay, like you don't have the greatest GPU yet, or you are 2 gens behind your processor, or you need more storage, or you want to buy more games but you have a limited budget, then I guess water cooling wouldn't really do you that much, as you can just invest your money in buying better peripherals, or saving for your next build, or buying a better graphics card. Okay, so that investment would really reap lots of benefits instead of doing a water cooling. But nonetheless, if you want a badass looking PC, then go for it. You can still do it. If you have probably the greatest GPU, the latest CPU, tons or heaps of storage, maxed out memories and stuff, and all your peripherals are up to date, or what you can expect for a high budgeted PC build, then I guess, yeah, water cooling would be the next step, okay, to throw money into, because not only that, it makes your rig look good, it also is quite useful in some scenarios, especially if you're having high-end parts that needs better heat dissipation. Then yes, water cooling will be better for you. So that would be a wrap for this video. I hope you like our content for this week. Please, as usual, like and subscribe to our channel. And what we have here is the Tindog Bicol or Stand Up Bicol t-shirt. If you want to help the people of the Bicol province to stand up or to recover from the typhoon, after typhoon, or the calamities that hit them, please do comment down below or DM us on our Instagram page. We'll put a link of that below, so that you can reach us and help people who were see the quality of the shirt, okay, and help people who were really devastated by the calamity, because the Philippines right now is in a state of calamity, and your spare change or a little help will go a long way. So please do, and see you on the next video.